Welcome to my resto. I'm Stuart Lawson, and, well, I suppose today's episode is a bit of a confession, really. See, it all started with a drive out to Buckhaven. I'd heard a rumour about an old fort tucked away in this damp, forgotten barn. One of those stories you chase half for the car, half for the sheer romance of it. So I rock up, boots caked in mud, and nudge open these creaky doors. And there she is. A 1987 Fiesta XR2, but, oh mate, she looked rough, proper rough. Rusty panels, paint faded to nothing, a bit of moss creeping round the windows, like she'd been swallowed up by the barn itself. It's funny, most folks would have shut the doors and walked off, but for me, something clicked. Do you ever just see past the rot? It's daft, but I felt this twinge, right? Like I was back in Buckhaven as a kid, drooling over the Fords outside Marley's garage. There's just something about these little classics, especially the XR2. Call it nostalgia, maybe, or just me being a hopeless romantic for battered old motors, but honestly, I could see more than a car in there. I saw a challenge. I'll tell you what, though, the smell hit me first. That sort of must and old oil. Like every memory from my uncle's shed all rolled into one. I found myself running my hand over the battered bonnet, thinking of the daft things we used to get up to, messing with exhausts and pretending we were rally drivers. It's hard to explain, but these cars, even when they're absolutely on their last legs, they just get under your skin, don't they? There's an emotional pull, even when logic says you should save your time, your sanity, your bank account. So there I was, staring at this sorry-looking Fiesta, and I made a decision, right then and there. I was going to bring her back, no matter how much metal I'd end up burning. A bit mad, I know, but I reckon sometimes the things that choose you aren't the tidy ones. Taking on the XR2, well, it was like opening Pandora's box, only dustier. First thing I did was start stripping it down to the bare bones. Every panel came off. Every bolt. By the end, it looked more like a jigsaw with half the pieces missing than a car. Honestly, the floor pan, I'm not exaggerating, there were bits you could poke your finger through. And don't get me started on the rear arches, properly mangled. Looked like someone had tried rallycross without telling the rest of the car. I'll admit, there were days I thought, what am I doing? You're standing there, welder in hand, up to your elbows in rust, and you wonder if you've bitten off a bit more than you can chew. Spare parts became like some rare species, tracking them down, waiting for deliveries that might never show up. And woe betide you if you thought you could cut a corner with the welding. One slip, it's all warped. Precision. Patience. Sounds easy when you're just talking about it, but when you're lying on a cold floor, trying to get a perfect seam on a paper-thin chassis, well, your patience runs bloody thin. Still, every time I sparked the torch and watched that molten pool run right, there was this buzz. Not just in the metal, although sure, that too, but just in me. This old car, bit by bit, started to look like something again. I patched the chassis, gave the suspension a go, learned more about bodywork than I ever intended. Sometimes I filmed the process for YouTube, thinking, even the setbacks are part of the story. And when I finally fired up the engine, that first cough and rumble, it felt, like more than a car coming back to life. Welders and classic car folk, we talk a lot about making stuff last, about pride in solid work. But the truth is, every job, not just bridges and stadiums, but daft little fiestas, reminds you why you bother in the first place. So, if you're on the fence about giving some beat-up project a go, don't hesitate. Even if it tests every ounce of patience you've got, you'll learn heaps. Not just about cars or welding, but about what actually keeps you moving. That's what this XR2 gave me. More than scars on my knuckles, it gave me a fresh shot of purpose. Cheers for listening to Welding is My Life. I'm Stuart Lawson, and next time, who knows, maybe we'll be thrashing the XR2 at a show, or I'll be elbow deep in my next big mess. Don't hang up your tools. See you out there.